Hello everyone, long time no see. It has been a crazy week since the CCP's number 2 and number 3 figures in the PLA were arrested. So many things have been happening, and I have been extremely busy tracking and updating the situation. As a result, I haven't been able to produce any videos yet. For quick updates and the latest development, I highly recommend that you follow on X, where I post much more frequently. The arrest of Zhang Youxia, vice chairman of the CCP's Central Military Commission, and what may follow could be unprecedented in the CCP's history. What will this bring to China and to the world? We must watch very closely. Today, I want to release a letter that is said to have been prepared by Zhang Youxia before his arrest. The title of this letter is On My Differences with Xi Jinping. It was sent to several media outlets and overseas influencers. I will read this letter in its entirety and let you decide for yourself whether it is true or not. Please leave a comment and share your thoughts. I may discuss my own views on this later at a later time. Now, below is the original text of the letter. If something happens to me, please make this letter public. If they arrest me, surely many more people will be arrested together with me. It is not because I have committed any illegal or disciplinary offenses. There's only one reason. I have a different understanding from Comrade Xi Jinping regarding the responsibility system of the chairman of the Central Military Commission. Of course, there are also major disagreements on the use of force to unify Taiwan, on strategic cooperation with Russia, and on the rapid promotion of senior generals. These differences should be considered normal phenomena within the party and the military, and originally could have been handled and resolved through scientific methods and democratic centralism. Now it appears that Xi Jinping has chosen a very special way to resolve them. I want to tell Jinping that when writing this letter, I thought of the words once spoken by Zeng. We are old, it no longer matters to us. I do have the conditions to launch a military coup, but I insist on not doing so because the disturbance would be too great, and once it spirals out of control, this country would fall into civil war. The first to suffer would be innocent soldiers on both sides. Even if unconventional methods are used against me, I will not resist, because right and wrong, justice and injustice are measured by the people's hearts. I believe history will also write this clearly. My heart is calm. Leaving these words behind, I also hope that Comrade Jinping will reflect upon himself. You have won, but you should show magnanimity. You should have moral boundaries, and you should not push matters to such extremes. 3 feet above your head, there are divine eyes watching. What I can be certain of is that if I'm arrested, it will only be done through a coup-like method, secretly plotted by 3 or 5 people, without collective discussion by the party's Central Committee's political bureau, yet implemented and announced in the name of the Central Committee. Who violated laws and discipline? In 1989, it was Deng Xiaoping who violated laws and discipline, not Zhao Ziyang. But later, in 1992, Deng Xiaoping still insisted on reform and opening up. If I am arrested, there is a very high possibility that Jinping will turn China into another North Korea, single-mindedly pushing the use of force to unify Taiwan, and will at any time use the military to impose nationwide martial law. I'm thinking, after arresting me, what kind of charge will they use? The first charge will certainly be that I oppose the responsibility system of the chairman of the Central Military Commission. Think about it. If the chairman of the military commission were truly responsible for so many years of corruption in the military, would I oppose it? What I oppose is turning the responsibility system of the chairman of the military commission into a patriarchal system, managing things too finely and too concretely, believing oneself to be a genius, an expert, and brilliant supreme commander in everything. Mao Zedong never controlled the military in this way. Turning the people's army into the party's army is not a problem in itself, but turning it into one's private army is extremely frightening. Those promoted in the rocket force feel deep gratitude and swear loyalty without principles, making the military seem good soldiers of Chairman Xi, which is completely the Cultural Revolution playbook. The key difference is that back then information was sold off and propaganda succeeded. Today, information is so developed that no matter how you propagate, no one will sincerely worship you as a leader. It will only provoke greater resentment. There are also videos online showing that when Jinping appears at meetings, everyone must stand and applaud, just like North Korea's Kim Jong-un. Everyone has seen my behavior on site. I felt inwardly disgusted and uneasy, and this too is considered opposition to the chairman responsibility system. Overseas speculation about struggles between me and Xi Jinping is rampant. The military intelligence departments often compile such information for me to read and merely laugh it off. If I am arrested, the problem lies in our own system. If the system is not changed, anyone could become the next victim. Party leadership does not mean that the party's highest leader controls everything in minute detail. It means leading the people to formulate rules and strategies, which every party member must then follow. The same applies to the party's leadership over the military. The responsibility system of the chairman of the military commission should be a chairman responsibility system under collective leadership. Only in wartime does the chairman become the supreme commander of the armed forces. In peacetime, when formulating strategies, analyzing situations, and promoting personnel, it cannot be decided by the military commission chairman alone. The contradictions and disagreements between Comrade Xi Jinping and me mainly occur in the following areas. The more serious issue is that I discovered he has been seeking opportunities and, from the bottom of his heart, wants to launch a war. He is especially eager to personally command a grand war. Conflicts in the South China Sea, particularly those on the China-India border, were completely unnecessary. I'm someone who has experienced the war. When leaders launch wars, countless soldiers lose their lives. Not long after, the leaders of both countries shake hands warmly again, comrades and brothers once more. This is not something a human being should do. Soldiers and officers who fought alongside me back then died and were buried locally. Their parents and siblings could not even afford the travel expenses to go see them once. Creating such tragedies in peacetime is Comrade Xi Xiaoping's thing. Not many people know this. Deng Xiaoping, in order to place his own power above everyone else, revised the constitution in 1982 to establish this chairman responsibility system. Even during Mao's time, this system did not exist. Deng Xiaoping never publicized it. He knew very well that this constitutional revision was for his own personal centralization of power. At that time, several people in the military commission, including Yang Shangkun, helped make it happen. Deng Xiaoping revised this constitution. Xi Jinping also revised the constitution. In fact, both were pushed through by key figures. The National People's Congress had no choice but to pass them. Once the political bureau decided, anyone who did not raise their hand would be arrested. Later, Deng Xiaoping was able to bring down Hu Yaobang and Zhao Ziyang and dared to drive tanks down Chang'an Avenue to suppress the people, all because of the chairman responsibility system of the Central Military Commission. This system granted him supreme power. Looking back, after committing so many crimes, what is good for the Deng family? Was it good for the party, the state, or the people? I advised Jinping precisely for his own good and for the good of his family. After all, we grew up together in the same compound like brothers, and only I can tell him some hard truths. Attacking Taiwan and then going to war with the United States and Japan will not be as simple as Deng Xiaoping's war with Vietnam or the suppression of students. It will bring endless disasters to families and to our country. The sacrifice of tens of thousands or even hundreds of thousands of soldiers is an outcome I cannot imagine. If such a war continues and mutiny breaks out, or the party state is overthrown by the people, will there be bloody reckonings against those leaders who launched the war? Just thinking about it is terrifying. The military exists to protect the country and the people. Believing that the military exists solely to wage war is a gravely mistaken view. While I'm in the military commission, I can still advise you, or at least restrain them from committing grave errors. Once I am arrested, Zheng Li and many other comrades will also be arrested. The military is filled with generals personally selected by him. If our country becomes militaristic or permanently under martial law, turning into something like North Korea, the problems will be even more severe than during the Cultural Revolution. Next, let me talk about my contradictions with Jinping. Problems already existed before the third plenum. He promoted so many people in a blitz, completely disregarding the rules and standards for selecting military tenant, which caused widespread dissatisfaction among officers and soldiers. More seriously, they used their power or the boss' trust to form factions within the military and began collecting evidence to investigate me. I clashed with Jinping during the third plenum on two issues. First, personnel appointments. Second, putting the entire country into a state of military readiness through the armed forces to seize Taiwan during the window when Russia was fighting in Ukraine. Zheng Li and I opposed this. Zhang Shengming remained silent. I believed the military commission should adhere to democratic centralism. He said I violated the chairman responsibility system. As a result, he became so angry that he fell ill and was sent to the hospital. And the third plenum almost could not continue. Of course, only a few people knew this inside story. The standing committee panicked, which led to the elders to step in to help coordinate. Later, what appeared online overseas at the Beidaihe consensus was largely correct. First, there would be no further term for Xi Jinping at the 21st Party Congress. Second, for the security and stability of the party and the state, power should be appropriately decentralized. Cai Qi would handle party affairs, Li Qiang the state council, and I the military commission, effectively forming an executive leadership. The establishment of a central decision coordination body was also meant to restrain the highest level decision-making from making major errors. Everyone should have seen this through the news. After the third plenum, the elders became more active. Behind this was the military's role in maintaining a balance of power at the top. So where did the problem arise? Cai Qi, Li Qiang, and the Political Bureau Standing Committee members were all personally selected by Jinping and followed his instructions completely. Without relying on Jinping, they had no authority. Therefore, they preferred having one person at the top, centralizing power, so that if something went wrong, the boss above would take responsibility. Whatever disasters the country and the people suffered had nothing to do with them. This is exactly how they acted during the pandemic. And I could not but listen to the party's central committee. Some activities I declined tactfully, others I had no choice but to cooperate with. I was powerless to change this structure. The elders were even more helpless. In the end, when they move against me, it is extremely unlikely that any elders will support me in arresting Jinping and launching a coup. If I am guilty of anything, first, it is supporting Jinping's constitutional amendment. Without the backing of the military, Cai Qi alone, using party and government resources, could not have accomplished it. This pushes Jinping to extremes. At the 12th Party Congress, he had comrade. At the 20th Party Congress, he had comrade Hu Jintao physically escorted out of the venue, which shocked me. At the 18th Party Congress, Comrade Jintao displayed noble character and handed all power to Jinping. In just 10 years, this is how you treat a former general secretary? How can one behave without any moral bottom line? Everyone knows the reason. Jinping and Jintao had already agreed that Chunhua would enter the political bureau, become a standing committee member, and serve as chairman of the Chinese People's Political Consultative Conference. In the end, not only did he not enter the standing committee, he was not even allowed into the political bureau. Second, I passively supported Jinping's so-called no-limit support for Russia. This was essentially supporting Russia's invasion of Ukraine, causing hostility toward our country, all of Europe and Ukraine. At the time, Russia's strength was grossly overestimated, believing a blitzkrieg would quickly take Ukraine, after which Russia would support us in using force against Taiwan. The result is that both Russia and Ukraine resent us. Before the new year, I went to Russia. The reception was high level, but the talks were extremely unfriendly. A meaningless war with people of the same ethnicity slaughtering each other. If we take Taiwan, it would be the same tragedy. Let me say a few more words. Solving the Taiwan issue was originally something I very much wanted to accomplish to complete the great cause of national reunification. Later, after listening to Liu Yazhou's analysis, I broke out in a cold sweat. Hundreds of thousands of troops thrown into the sea would not even get close to Taiwan. Once war begins, Japan will be drawn in, and then the United States is very likely to enter the war. Military facilities, bridges, and oil depots along the southern China coast would be destroyed within hours. We could also destroy some buildings in Taiwan, but in the end, we would still have to pay war reparations and the country's overseas assets would be frozen. The nation would cease to be a nation. The party and the state would perish. The problem with Jinping lies in the flatterers around him who have fooled him into believing he is a peerless great man. Does liberating Taiwan mean realizing the Chinese dream? Does it make him even greater than more glorious than Mao? Whoever tells Jinping the truth may get slapped in the face on the spot. People like Liu Yazhou, who speak the truth, are now only able to sit in prison. I may not be an exception. After arresting me, they will certainly fabricate more charges, treason, corruption, very likely so. After all, they need some charges. Let the whole world know that I'm a traitor, a sellout of the nation, and a corrupt official. I am already vice chairman of the Central Military Commission. If I retired safely now, I could enjoy treatment at the full national leader level. Why would I betray my country? My contacts with Russia and the United States were all to safeguard national interests. The information exchanged was all within authorized bounds. In fact, when I communicate with Americans, the United States military deliberately leak high-level classified information. For example, they showed me photographs of our military bases, layouts of nuclear facilities, and even extremely detailed images of the private residences of party and state leaders. Their purpose was very clear. High technology is watching from the sky every day. Everything is known. The aim was to deter us from acting rashly and launching a war because there's no chance of victory. As for corruption, pulling a truckload of US dollars and renminbi out of my home, is that possible? They may produce such videos and also use mainstream American media to enumerate my alleged crimes. These are all standard routines. Do not take them seriously. My conflict with Jinping has none been public. If I truly had enormous wealth, it would have been destroyed long ago. Such external positions mean nothing to someone of my age and position. If I'm to spend my later years in Qingcheng prison or be executed, I would need none of these things anyway. By the way, last year, Jinping wanted to watch the video of the trial of Xu Qingxian, commander of the 38th Army. We retrieved it and watched it as well, and I was deeply shaken. More than 5 hours long after watching it, I wept bitterly for this loyal and righteous general and did not sleep all night. Senior military officers have all watched this video. Later, it was somehow leaked overseas. I do not know what Jinping felt after he watched Xu Qingxian's video. A general loyal to the country and the people like this is a true soldier, willing to suffer humiliation himself rather than fire on the people. This has also made me reflect on the sins and disastrous consequences brought by the chairman responsibility system of the Central Military Commission. If everyone listens to the chairman's orders without principles or humanity, if supreme power is unchecked, our country will suffer even greater disasters. Our party, our top leaders, and the chairman of the military commission will all commit grave crimes. If soldiers are required to be eternally loyal to the party and the leader, regardless of right or wrong, loyal only to the chairman of the military commission, we will commit unforgivable crimes. Finally, I put forward several expectations to Xi Jinping. First, at the 21st Party Congress, step down and leave your post. This was the commitment made at the third plenum. Second, do not launch any form of war. The military exists to defend the country and the people. Third, respect the order established by the United States since World War II and never become an enemy of the United States. Fourth, sincerely pursue reform and opening up. If you truly love the Chinese people, you should return power to the people and fulfill the promises of democratic constitutional governance made during the Yan'an period. Jinping, if you truly arrest me, I hope the state media will make this letter public. I hope he can also see this letter. So the original author's notice, the above content was dictated by me and organized by a friend, and reviewed it and authorized its release. No secretary was involved. Okay, that is the entire letter said to have been written by Zhang Youxia before his arrest. He reportedly foresaw what was coming and prepared this letter in advance. What do you think? Please leave a comment and share your thoughts. That's all for now. Please share this video, subscribe to my channel, follow me on X, or visit my website at jenniferzengblog.com to become a member or make a donation. This is a crazy and fast-changing world, and I will do my best to bring you the latest information and analysis that official media will not cover. Thank you. See you next time.